What's up, everybody? John Arapoli here with My MMA News, and today's guest is a world-renowned jiu-jitsu practitioner, now slowly making her way into MMA. I'm pleased to be talking to Talita Alencar here today. So thanks for being here. Really appreciate the time, and I know you have a fight coming up here. You're getting ready for it, so thanks for making the time out of your day to make this interview with us.
You're welcome. Thank you so much for the opportunity as well.
Hey, no problem at all. And before we get into the specifics of this upcoming fight, I do want to start with your background here, actually. So, you were a six-time world champion in jiu-jitsu. Just how exactly did you go ahead and get involved in that sport in the first place? And when was it that you realized that you were really talented and had the opportunity to do the things that you did in the sport?
It was tough actually because I had a really disturbed a childhood. I didn't know what I really wanted, but I always had a aggressive style like coming from my parents. And I always like fight on school. I was like a trouble kid. and thank God that did save my life. And I always been like a forward fighter, a pressure fighter, and I since I understand myself as a competitor, like a lot of people come to advise or like to compliment me and say, like, oh my gosh, you're so good. You have such aggressive style, like a bull, like a honey badger. Like they gave me a bunch of like nicknames. And I actually had a friend that she's really like a old school MMA, Karina Dam. She fought like a bunch of MMA fights, and she always been was telling me like, hey, let's do MMA, let's go America top team, like you're gonna be so good, like it will be tough in the beginning, let's go, let's not waste time. And I waste like kind of 3 years of my life just listening to her. And I was like, you know what, I'm here in Florida anyways, and the MMA is strong here, so I think I'm just gonna do this.
So you're talking there, right, about how you grew up like troubled and you were angry and getting in the fights, and I find that just like so hard to believe because we were able to talk a little bit before we came on air here, and even hearing you now just in that first answer, you're so nice. Like I find this very hard to believe. Like, is this like an old school thing? Like, are you not like that anymore? Because I can't see you being like this mean and aggressive person.
I actually am not like as before, but I'm definitely a firecracker. My style is like I fight for everything, like even like conflicts and etc. But it's like for sure in a like a like a mature version of me. But I'm definitely if you ask my roommates or my my teammates at the gym, they know that I'm like sometimes I bully them, but it's like all different purpose now, of course, because I'm more like professional and I see a lot of potential in the students and my teammates and etc. And there's a reason of doing all these things. But yeah, like um I don't like to be teased too much because I usually get really hot head. I don't fight like I did before, but right now it's different be fighting in Brazil and you fighting in United States when you are liability. Like if I get in a fight, it has to be like totally self-defense purpose. If not, I can go to jail. But I'm not this nice, trust me. The smile can mistake a lot of people.
I say you have me fooled. I still think you're a nice person anyway. But I do want to ask you one more question about competing at this world championship level in jiu-jitsu because for me, right, in my athletic career, I competed in track and field when I was younger. When I was in high school, just being the best in my county in the one event that I did was a big deal to me. Then I had the opportunity to walk on to a Division II program here in the United States, and that was a big deal to me just to be able to be a walk on at a smaller school like that. I can only imagine what it's like to be the best in the world at something. So, just what was that experience like competing at that high of a level and winning world championships like that?
John, I never really planned to be a world champion, but I think my life history drove me to be who I am today. Definitely, I became like to see how the world really is. Like when your parents say, "Oh, it's easy to live with your parents, but like when you live by yourself, you're gonna see the world how it really is, and a lot of disappointments. But I somehow had a lot of people believing in my potential, and that was my gasoline. But definitely one thing that I learned was overcome after each tournament and keep my mindset is strong like a rock. And that's what made me be like who I am today, like it's like just like the mindset what matters. But I totally agree with you when you say like you came from the track field. I started swimming at 4 years old. I did triathlon before I did jiu-jitsu. I always been active, and I've been always being very competitive, so like there's no other thing to be like extraordinary, to do great things. Like when you are this competitor and you want to do something, like I want to be like the best podcast MMA, you know what I mean? Like you are, or like I want to be like the 6-time jiu-jitsu world champ. I never really planned to be this. I think my life history and the disappointment that I translate to be a great motivation to be who I am now, to be honest. That was my life lesson, and still like every day I overcome better and better.
Well, hey, everything's been paying off great for you here, and now you're getting ready to now start making MMA the next full time big thing here for you. You already had one fight in it. Just how exactly then did you make this decision then, right? Because obviously you're so successful in jiu-jitsu. What made you then want to lead to going this MMA route and giving this whole thing a shot?
Well, like I said before, it's my style, and I got to a point in my grappling career that I got a lot of controversy, and I always have this angry feeling inside my chest, and like, and the next step I was like slap somebody, and I'm like I have to do something else. And I got to a point in my career, I'm like, okay, I was like 28, 29. I'm like, I need to do something else that will challenge me to a point that I need to be better what in something else, like I got all the 6-time jiu-jitsu world champ titles, but there were like many other things that I want to accomplish in jiu-jitsu. But so far, that's only one main goal. It's still there. It's the ADCC. That's the world like no gi, like vast wrestling. And I still like think about a little bit of grappling, but my full focus is MMA for sure. There's no other things for me. Like I was like, okay, I'm 31 now. I have this aggressive style that perfectly transitions to MMA. Why not do it? Why not try? And I find out that I'm a really great kickboxer, and I fell in love in boxing. I'm like, oh my gosh, it's like just learning jiu-jitsu, grappling, everything over and again, it's like, but being MMA, learning the range and like how much movement, lead leg and etc. is like infinite thing when you go to a mixed martial arts, because then come taekwondo, karate, all these things that you have to understand to be a round fighter. For sure, the main goal is to always have a great performance and be the best fighter I can.
So you're mentioning there, right? Like you found out that you're a pretty damn good kickboxer. You're falling in love with boxing. I imagine that to be like the hardest part of for most people in your situation to be transferring over is learning that stand up part. Just how exactly has it been? Like, has it been a natural flow to you of picking up the stand up game here? And what would you say has been the most difficult part about transferring over to the sport and learning all the different things that go into it?
It wasn't easy actually. Like the first year was a lot of crying, a lot of like overrounding, and like get punched in the face. It was not even the punch, it's like me moving forward. Then when I should like tease and just test and change level and like go over my strike so could flow without being me so not relax, be relaxed. It's pretty much like a dance, like, you know, and it was hard to be more like, what's the word that I can say? Compose. Because me, I get punched in the face and I was like, okay, bring it in, like, bring it. You had to knock me out because I'm gonna come back and I'm just gonna, you know what I mean? And the biggest lessons that I learned since I started MMA was to be composed. Eventually you're gonna get punched, but eventually you're gonna have to like change level, change angles, like footwork, and like be better, those things that makes essentially change to get a good angle for you, good striking towards to a grappling.
So now, before we get into Titan FC and your MMA debut that you made last summer and this upcoming fight, I do want to actually go to something more recently. I know you told me off air you wanted to address this. So you were just recently in a competitive grappling match. You said there was a bad call involved in it. Go ahead, explain everything that took place in that matchup and why that was so frustrating that you had to take the loss there due to a bad call.
It was actually not frustrated. It was like, okay, most of the grappling federations or shows that how fight to win is, they have different rule set, like MMA, like one UFC, UFC, and Bellator. There is few things that change change around the like each federation. um Actually it was a great match because the my opponent was long, like the girl Andy that I'm gonna fight MMA. It was totally to a purpose of like testing myself with somebody longer. And the difference was that she was already came with a background wrestling, and I've been doing wrestling from my purple belt maybe 6 7 years, but not like a high school wrestler. And actually like she had a lot of like takedown attempts, but I was the only one that took her down, so I felt great because I took down a high school wrestler, you know. The part that was a little frustrated only that you said, it was the rule set, like what decide the mat that was a referee decision was this lane. And I was hunting because the tournament was submission only, and you get a point for like almost attempt of submission or like a really good one, real one, or a slam. I didn't have a chance to slam, and I didn't even get close because she was counting my game the entire time. But for sure, if you watch the match, I watched like 10 times already because I'm also a referee. I have way more pressure, more control. I took her down. I didn't have this lane. And so they only decide to her. But in the end of the day, it doesn't not bother me anymore. Losing grappling actually is just like training for me, actually, you know, towards to my MMA, because the MMA what matters for me now.
So, are you still going to be doing these types of matches too as you keep going on with your career? I know a lot of fighters do like to stay active in the grappling world and compete in different competitions.
Yeah. Yeah, 100%. 100%. Like not all the time. Like, you know, I took this match, but because it was like about almost 3 weeks for my fight, and I knew that would not like have any possibility to get hurt or to be to compromise. But I would like to be active for sure. And I'm working and get like new matches after my fight so I can keep move forward.
All right, let's get into Titan FC now here a little bit. Before we address this upcoming fight, I do want to just go back in time again to your MMA debut that you made back in July. What was that experience like for you? Right? First time going out there in the cage, competing in MMA like that. Just talk about that experience and the thrill of it and how you thought you did in your first outing.
It was crazy. I never felt like this, like not even jiu-jitsu, you know, like it was just like a feeling that I couldn't control. And I am really good at like be composed and control like how excited I get and etc. Of course I learned through the time by mistakes and etc. um I don't know, I didn't even predict to finish in the first round. I thought that we would go more rounds, and it was pretty tough actually because she was very anti-grappling in the beginning, and I was like, damn, nothing that I'm doing is working here. And I'm but looking back to the match in a 5 minutes, less than 5 minutes, I believe that I won in the entire striking in the beginning. There was a time that I reached in a wrong way instead to be framed properly. She came with a side boxing that she hit me pretty hard, and I felt rocked, and then was like naturally like going to the double and pressure her to the cage to get the takedown and like mounting elbow to have her turning her back to get the submission. But yeah, like it was like a crazy feeling. I don't even know how to, and I'm trying to control my anxiety before the match, but it's just pretty tough.
I bet that it is, and I know it's been emotionally a roller coaster for you since that first outing because you've wanted to stay active in this and keep competing, and it's been, you told me off air, a bit of a struggle to find an opponent for you here. And matter of fact, even as of yesterday, I know our site manager Eric Colwell was talking with Titan FC, and they said that they didn't even have an opponent lined up for you yet for February 18th. I know when we were talking before we came in air, you said that that has been squared away, that there is an opponent now. But still, I mean, all of this has to be just so frustrating that you want to keep evolving and keep getting better and keep competing, and it's been so hard to get an opponent. So just how has this road been the last few months since making your MMA debut?
It's definitely like up down emotions, like you can ask my teammates, my professors. I've been crazy angry every time I spoke with Lex and the matchmaker. I was like, what the fuck, you guys not gonna get me a mat? It's like, trust Talita, it's very hard, let's get a meeting. I was like, no. And I'm pressure, I was like, no, I cannot accept it. How come? Are you guys offering me their money? Like, no, I need to get a fight. I can't be in training camp for days long. And then my period hits, and I'm like, come on, I'm on my period. I'm gonna kill everyone. I'm so angry. I want to fucking fight. And been like this, like up and down since December. And I trust me, I am on top all of them. I'm keep texting them every day. My manager, Charles McCarthy, and I'm like, come on, Charles. He's like, I can't do anything. I was like, Charles, you need to get me a match. Come on, bro. Like, I started all these things. I'm not gonna give up right now. I need to fight. I want to get to the cage again. Come on.
So you are going to be in the cage again, right, on February 18th. What can we expect out of you, and how would you say you improved since making your debut back in July to this point now? Like, how much better have you improved in that short amount of time?
For sure, be more patient, more composed, less like reaction when I end up getting like a touch jab or a punch or like a hook, like for sure work to not get punched in and out sideways, dominate the middle of the cage more, like, and because before I was walking a lot of like backward, and I wasn't aggressive also in changing angles and just walking back. Oh my gosh, that is like a probably at least a 50 tanks that I write down, excuse me, that I write down since my last fight to make it better this time. And based on my studying on top of my opponent Andy.
So, what do you say would be the long term goal in all of this when this is all said and done? Where do you see yourself?
Like I said before, John, I am 31. I don't look like, but I feel like old, but I don't have this mentality of putting myself down because my age. I don't believe in age very much when you do everything as a pro athlete to do, like take care of your body, keep, because the amount of we train is like, I literally like living in the gym, like I leave 5 minutes for the gym. I moved to a new house exactly to be by the gym, to have a comfortable way to like wake up and like not hurry. I have to drive a lot. So I go in the morning and I come take a shower, and then I don't stay like not even an hour at home, and I'm back to the gym again. So um so like I did a lot of sacrifice to be doing this, and I believe that you guys can expect a lot of things from me. But my main goal is definitely being in UFC because my background, who I am. I want to be the greatest, like I did in jiu-jitsu. I want to do in MMA. Um, for sure, my main focus is the UFC. I don't want to bounce around too much going to other companies, but if I do have the need in the future, I would have to overview all days with my team, but my only focus is UFC, definitely.
And of course, the gym that you're at down in South Florida that you've referenced now a few times is American Combat Gym. For most of the fans out there, if they hear South Florida and MMA, they immediately go to thinking American Top Team or thinking Sanford MMA. Just talk about the scene of your gym where you're at, how they've been helping you improve, and what's it been like working at that facility as opposed to a bigger one like a ATT or Sanford MMA.
It's funny because we are in the same area. Like we're literally less than 20 minutes of each other here. But the difference is that we started this gym for many reasons due to Corona, because we keep training, and when everyone shut it down, like mostly, like honestly, the pros start keep training each other, the gyms, like they never really close, you know. It was like an in-off thing, but who is pro don't want to really like stop training because it's the it's literally you don't have nothing to do. That's who I am. Like why I'm gonna stop training somehow, you know what I mean? But the experience was like a little tough in the beginning because I had to build the business with the owners. All like I was like all in, and I was like working training, and I was like crazy, and then we moved to a bigger place, like a 7,000 square foot gym, like beautiful gym. And the way we built the schedule was towards to the pro fighters, like the main fighters that it was me and Charles Rosa, Charles McCarthy, like Ryan Marquez, Rami Hamed, and and we got to a point that we became like competitive with those other gyms, but not to a point to be like who's better, but what we have to offer that they don't have it. Makes sense? So we became like very known by having great grappling, like high level teaching, and the type of service that we will offer the fighters that the other gyms are not offering. Of course, these gyms are bigger and they have way more bodies to offer. And when you come to a high level like training to MMA, but we have a lot of fighters coming to do like privates and etc. because the difference of coaching that we have, and they talk really high level about us, and this is like the best thing for us because you don't want to make a gym towards, oh, what's the gym has, it's a big gym, there's a bunch of people. Now we want to offer a service that nobody else have, and why we are unique to you come to us, you know what I mean? So that was the best thing that the gym has. We have like great wrestling, we have like maybe 3 different wrestling coaches, have good judo, have really good MMA class, MMA for wrestling. We have really good kickboxing. We have like 3 world champion kickboxing at the gym, kickbox and Muay Thai. We have Gregory Chaplin, that's a Muay Thai world champion. He's like long, like a bailoring, like perfect technique. You can see like from all his students that started from day first with him, it just like his technique. We have Coach Nikolai, that's a, like more an angle guy that he's like do elbow, like his spinning elbows, like more like a meter and close range guy. And when Gregory Chaplin is like a far range kickboxer. And we have Rami Ramad, that's like also world champion kickboxing, and this like the crazy footwork and like all style. And I don't understand why he's not UFC yet. You know what I mean? Um, but yeah, we have like great and have me, Charles McCarthy, all of those guys that come in to add in the gym. It's just been great.
Well, we're looking forward to seeing what all of you guys do here in the future. One last thing now here before you roll out. You want to go ahead, plug your social media so people know where to find you at. If you have any sponsors, management, coaches, teammates, family, friends, whoever you want to give a shout out to, you get the last word. Floor is yours.
Thank you. I would like to thank America Combat Gym for all the training, all the sacrifice they've been doing for me towards to my camp and etc. to deal with my strong personality. Sponsors Ryan Marquez, Charles McCarthy, Ice Mike, my manager, Albino Preto, Titan Lex Moron. Thank you so much. Roger Crow, everyone to be my stronger team, a great support team. And my social medias is Instagram, it's Talita Alencar BJJ. My Twitter, it's Anna Talita 19. Please follow me up. Pretty much my Facebook, Talita Alencar. Give me a follow. I follow you guys back. Let's make this great networking. Thank you so much, John, for the attention today and to be helpful.
Talita, no problem at all. And thank you so much for all the time that you gave here today. Really appreciate it. It was great talking to you and talking all the different aspects of the sport here with you. So, again, really appreciate it. And I appreciate everyone out there that watched today's interview. If you like today's interview, please go to the bottom and give it a thumbs up. If you haven't done so already, please subscribe to this YouTube channel. This way, you'll be able to get notified whenever I have another interview out, and you'll be able to see more great interviews just like the one that you just watched here today. Also, my MMA News, great work comes out there 7 days a week. Not only for myself and my colleagues as well, a lot of great content there. So make sure you guys are checking that out. Also, go to our social media pages, give us a like and a follow on there. And if you want to find me on Instagram or Twitter, I'm at John Eric Poli. We'll see you later, everybody.